Hello everyone, my name is Yuliia and you are watching Multicultural's Community Hour. In this segment, we are talking about civic issues in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I would like to introduce our guest Elan from N.E.E.D.S, which helps newcomer children and youth and their families to integrate into Canadian life. Hello Elan, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Today we are talking about programs and services provided by N.E.E.D.S. So, Elan, could you please introduce yourself and N.E.E.D.S?
So, my name is Elan Mueller. I am a team lead in our Swiss services at N.E.E.D.S. We love acronyms at N.E.E.D.S Center. So, Swiss stands for Settlement Workers in Schools, and N.E.E.D.S stands for Newcomers, Employment, and Education Development Services. So that's who I am.
Thank you so much. What served as an impetus for starting the N.E.E.D.S organization?
So our current CEO and the CEO over the years, Margaret, she started the organization back in 1999. She came to Canada as an immigrant, and she started N.E.E.D.S out of her personal experience as a newcomer. So she knew some of the challenges she faced with employment and navigating different systems. And so, she started it to serve other immigrant women based on those experiences that she had. So they did things like they had sewing groups and English language classes, working on employment. And then in 2007, the agency switched to having a focus on serving newcomer children and youth. And that's what we've been doing up until this point now. So,
thank you. Tell us more about the N.E.E.D.S organization and main goal.
So, N.E.E.D.S Center is a nonprofit charitable organization. We provide accessible services to newcomer children and youth. And when I say newcomer, I'm just encompassing children and youth with an immigrant or refugee background. So I'll just say newcomer just to make it easier. But through our various services, which I'm guessing we'll talk about a bit later, our goal is to just help build capacity in newcomer youth, build confidence, and provide support in transitioning into new life in Canada. So building just different life skills, building connections with their community, employment skills, things like that.
If I'm a newcomer and I want to register and to be your client, what should I do?
You can look at our website, www.needsinc.ca. You can call us. We have fantastic receptionists who will greet you. And you can explain what you're looking for, what supports you're looking for, and they can point you in the right direction. The general line is 204-940-1260. You can also email us. So we have lots of families who do that as well. You can send that to info@needsinc.ca. So you could also drop in if you wanted to as well, but there's lots of different ways to contact us. And in order to receive services and ongoing services with us, you do need to be registered. So we do have our registration forms online, but also if you call or send an email, we can get you connected to someone who can walk you through our registration process. And you would need a PR card or landing papers and Manitoba Health card.
Okay. So immigrants and refugees face a lot of challenges, new country, new language, new laws, everything is new. So let's talk about programs you are serve newcomers.
So we have a number of different services. I'll try and just go through them here. So we have our intro program, which is an introduction to Canadian education. We have some wonderful teachers and staff who work, it's out of N.E.E.D.S Center itself, and they are facilitating lessons to help newcomer youth to learn about what's it like to be at a school in Canada. They have, I think we have a number of classrooms, 4 or 5 classrooms that we run. They talk about things like health and safety and pro-social skills, community services, things like what's a library, how do you get a library card, different things to just kind of get some basic awareness of new life in Canada, and kind of the step before they would go into a school. And that specifically is for children and youth age 6 to 21, and specifically as well for government-assisted refugees or privately sponsored refugees, as well as the Ukrainian families that are coming right now on their special temporary visa. So that's the intro program. Then we have our Swiss services, which is a pretty big program, and kind of the heart of that is to help children and youth, again, school age, to settle into their new school and their community. So our Swiss staff meet with these youth and talk about goal setting, what are they interested in, what are they hoping for, and trying to connect them to those things, help them feel comfortable and safe in their school. For example, too, lots of our youth love sports, and so how do you get connected to a soccer team? It's kind of complicated sometimes, and filling out the paperwork, and who do you call, where do you go? So our staff help navigate some of those things along with our youth and families, just providing supports and trying to make the transition as smooth as possible. We also have employment services, so that age range is a little bit different. Actually jumping back a second. So the services with Swiss, the kind of window of time that we serve those clients is from 18 to 36 months of arriving in Canada. So it really is that transition period at the beginning. So back to employment services, the age is 16 to 29, and they help build employability skills, build confidence, build resumes. They have different workshops that they run, some one-on-one coaching, what's it like to be in an interview, things like that. So they do lots of awesome work there in employment. Then we have our enhanced wellness program, which has a couple different pieces there. So they have, they run some group sessions in schools, and currently we're running in 3 different schools after school. And so they're talking about, mental wellness and just overall well-being for children and youth. Again, you said there's so many challenges that our newcomer youth face, and so working through some of those emotions that come through these transitions, and how do you cope with these big feelings that you have, and trying to understand why your body's reacting the way it is. Why am I freezing in these situations, or why do I feel so angry about this? Or so we have staff who are working through and doing different activities to support newcomer youth in that way. Then we also do some one-on-one work. And then we also have, we run a program called Circle of Security Parenting Groups. So all of our other services are directed towards children and youth, but this is the one kind of part that is aimed towards parents. And so this service is offered in many languages, and the first language of lots of our parents. So there's that. Am I missing something? We also have a program called RAMP, Remote and After School Mentorship Program, and they provide, you would get connected to a volunteer who then could help you with some homework, or sometimes children just need a space to practice their English, so they would be connected to somebody who can help them with that. Or if they just want to get better at math, we have lots of different worksheets they could be working through with somebody. So I think those are overall the different services we provide.
Thank you. And what is the most common request you receive?
So we get calls and emails about lots of different things, especially in September and October. Families are, especially if they're newly arrived, wondering, how do I register for schools here? What school do I register with, and what are the steps? So we support with school registrations a lot at this time, and also throughout the year as different families come. We get schools and parents asking for supports with interpretation. So my child is, experiencing these different things, and I want to talk to their teacher about it, but we don't speak the same language. So we have lots of different languages that our staff speak that can support with interpretation, or vice versa. If the school wants to have a meeting with a parent and they just need interpretation services, we get a lot of requests for that. We have parents reaching out to us about supports with homework and needing extra support. Or I want my children to learn English faster. How can they do that? So we would, one of our services is the RAMP program, so supporting with that. And often, just parents in schools asking, can you help this family just learn to navigate school systems in general? Because it can be kind of complicated to know, who do I talk to? Which route do I go for this issue? And so actually all of those things fall under things that we would do in our Swiss services. So most of the requests would fall under that, I would say.
So there are lots of newcomer Ukrainians. How many reach you out in the recent 6 months?
Oof, I wish I had numbers for you. I don't have numbers specifically for Ukrainian families, but a lot. We were running some summer programming at N.E.E.D.S Center and in partnership with another organization during the summer, and lots of Ukrainian families. And some now that are going through our intro program. But I wish I had a number. A lot of families from the Ukraine are reaching out to us, and we're providing supports for them. So,
thank you so much. Besides educational programs, do you have entertaining activities? Because it's very important for children not just to study, but to spend time with their peers. So
good question. So our main focus would be educational, but sometimes we receive like passes to the zoo or tickets to a certain show that we can then take some of our students to or invite them to come along. And then in our Swiss services, for example, we really want to get students connected to their schools and their communities. And so, for example, if they feel isolated and they want to make some more friends, we would look into, what are the things nearby that can get them connected? Maybe it's an after-school program, or maybe it is sports or an art club or something like that. Then we would support them in getting connected there.
Thank you. So you help newcomer a lot on completely different issues. Does N.E.E.D.S charge for services, or everything is completely free?
Everything is completely free, which is, pretty fantastic.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
How important for you to help these kids?
I think the work we do is incredibly valuable. I've had a lot of conversations since I've been working at N.E.E.D.S Center. People have asked what I do, and I explain some of the day-to-day things. And I've talked to a lot of adults who, they've now grown up in Canada, but they came to Canada as a newcomer, and they've so many of them have said to me, "Where was this when I came here? Years and years ago. We didn't have supports like this." And so just to have people to advocate for them, people to be a safe and familiar face in a school, people who are really our job and our efforts are aimed at making them feel safe and settled in their community, building connections with them. So I think it's really, really valuable. And for me, I just feel like it's a privilege. I've gotten to see so many of our youth grow and just flourish as they've settled here and just overcome lots of challenges. So it's neat as well to see they have so much resilience, and it's so brave for them to start somewhere new. And oftentimes they already have what they need inside, and so we just kind of help direct them in the right directions and just get to be a support for them. So I think what we do is really valuable, and it really is an honor to work with them too. So.
Yeah, fantastic. What is the latest successful project you have launched?
Lots of things happening at N.E.E.D.S Center. One really neat project that was launched last year is called Stand Up to Racism. So that was for immigrant youth I believe it was aged 16 to 21, somewhere in that age range. And so they got training on graphic design, and they were a part of workshops about anti-racism and how to use your voice in a positive way. And so they created these art projects, to these kind of anti-racism art projects, and then they compiled them all together and made these videos. So there was a series that was created, Stand Up to Racism Together series. And then that was posted on our social media, it's on YouTube, and yeah, thousands of people have watched those videos, and I think the response has been really positive. And it caught the attention of the CBC, CTV, and just the city of Winnipeg in general. So yeah, that was a really neat project. And again, neat to see our newcomer youth just having a voice and bringing their experiences to the table. Yeah, so if people are still interested, they can watch those videos on our Facebook page, or it's also on YouTube as well. So.
This project is about reclaiming our stories. People see you and can make 1,000 assumptions just based on how you look. Assumptions like because you're from a different country, you must act like this or think like this. And none of that is ever turned. It's baseless assumptions. These assumptions can not only be hurtful, they can lead to violence as well. The truth is, you don't know me. You haven't even gotten a chance to know me. You don't know my story. Thinking you do is part of the problem. This is why we want to take back our stories. We deserve the right to tell it. This is why we're using art to draw attention to racism. We want to put these issues in the forefront. Our society needs to take actions in ending racism. We want our art to encourage people to work together and begin to do better. I don't know my story, so listen to me tell it. So my name is Angelo Joaquin F. Salazar, that's my full name, but most people I know call me by the name AJ, which is my nickname. I'm a Filipino. I'm currently a grade 12 student. I have a part-time job at N.E.E.D.S. I like dancing, I like singing. I'm also a bit into acting, I like playing video games, and yeah. The title and the message is which pretty much, if it was you, would you like it? That's a universal thing that talks about the golden rule, which is don't do what other people do to you. Coming from Asian descent and seeing what has happened towards all of the Asian people throughout the world, about the hate crime that's been happening to us. It's just kind of sad because our elders we left our country, sacrificed everything that we have for a better future, especially for our children and our future children. And yeah, with seeing about what has happened towards the racist people, if we are also racist towards you, would you also like it? Would you feel the same way? So pretty much I wanted to highlight the phrase that I use, the title which I have, which if it was you, would you like it? I want to keep it as my main point, the highlight, so I kept it on top. And the would you like it part, I wanted to bold, make it stand out. I also added some symbols throughout it, which I also came from a Japanese descent. My great ancestors were also Japanese, so I added the Japanese symbol of love. Pretty much just to further promote that. No matter how much hate that is being through onto us that we only want to promote love and that's it. And also the Filipino tribal symbol of harmony. I put that there to, represent that we all want and share the same goal, which is harmony throughout every single, people in this world, no matter what color, what race, or what language you speak. And also I added some, different languages of the word peace and love, which, pretty much speaks for itself. Peace and love, that's all we need to have a better world. And the background, which is a picture from the, Stop Asian Hate movement, to further symbolize that, this is happening right now. I need to wake up because, if stuff like these continues to happen, like we're not going to go anywhere. Coming back to the title of my poster, I want people to remember that word. Like, if it was you, would you like it? Like, cause if I was racist towards another person that is also racist, like how would they feel? Of course they feel sad, and I want them to make it realize that, the golden rule, which is don't do what other people do to you. And I just want to highlight that part, and I hope that, people would realize about that poster. And I want to make clear too that, this poster just doesn't talk about the specific like Asian hate crime. It also talks about the racism towards other races, which of course the Black Lives Matter, and other hate or like racism towards Mexican, Hispanic people and other stuff.
My name is Harry Hu, and I'm from China, and I'm currently studying in University of Manitoba, majoring in computer science. The title of my poster is Unity. The message I want to get across is that no matter what our differences are, we must work together to fight against racism. I choose the hand is because it shows that no matter what our background, skin color, and cultures are, it doesn't matter. We can all be friends. We can all work together. And the symbol in the middle it means unity in Chinese. I choose to put it because it resembles me. It's important to have my own identities because that people know about you, because people are friends with you because you are who you are. You're not pretend to be someone else. So for example, if your friend want to be your friend is because that they know you. It's not like you pretend to be someone else, and that's why they want to be your friend. If we stay together, we can face and solve any challenge.
My name is Samhar. I'm Samhar Garazkir, and I'm in grade 10 in Nelson McIntyre Collegiate School. My poster is about everybody, people from other countries with different backgrounds, with different cultures, who hide their true identity, their true selves, just to fit in, and they also think that everybody is gonna think of them differently and in a bad way. And I put the word you to represent those people. It could be me, it could be you, just everybody in general. The word you is kind of the same color as the background, and I did that to make it like you can see it but kind of barely, and it represents like those people, me, you, everybody, like especially with different backgrounds, with different cultural and like from different countries, and who try to hide their true selves, where they came from, what language they speak, just because they think people are gonna think of them differently in a bad way. But not everybody think of them like in a bad way. For example, if me, whenever I go to church, I have to wear like my cultural clothes, and like a lot of people stare, and which can get really uncomfortable. But also some people come up to me and like ask me about the clothes, and like they ask me what does it represents, why do I wear it, like the meaning behind it. So like when people stare, they're just staring because it's new to them. They stare because they want to know more about it, but they don't have the courage to come to you, so they just stare at it. And so they don't just stare in a bad way. So like, why hide you when you can like embrace it and tell everybody about what's this specialty about you? Like if you hide your true identity, your culture, you're soon gonna forget who you are. If you try to be someone else, you're gonna forget who you really are. So why hide the real you, that part of you, when you can shine through it? That's what my poster represents. For me, like claiming back my identity means like wherever you are, you still have like your identity. Like your identity doesn't have to be where you are. So if like I'm from another country, and if I'm here, it doesn't mean like I act like I'm from here. I speak only English. I have the right to speak my own language and wear whatever I want. So yeah.
My name is Yuliia Kovalenko. I'm currently in grade 12. I'm about to graduate from Grand Park High School. Hopefully, with things going smooth, I'm hoping to enter the University of Winnipeg into the pharmacy program. My nationality is very interesting because my dad is Nigerian and my mom is South African. So usually, like most people often go with their dad's side, so I'm Nigerian, I would say. Or sometimes, if I'm just like so lazy to explain to somebody, I would just say I'm African. Yeah. What you see here is a group of hands together, along with the word unity in colors of the pride flag. The hands represent teamwork, while the colors of the pride flag represent diversity and individuality. And what I would love to share with you is for us to overcome police brutality, racial discrimination, Asian hate crimes, or any form of struggles or hurt being experienced by people of color, we have to work together. If we want to, for us to live in a world full of peace and harmony, we have to be on the same goal or the same page. And that page is unity. Yes, unity means working together, right? It's not it's not the responsibility for only Black community to be posting or bring awareness about police brutality. Neither is it the responsibility of only Asians to bring about Asian hate crimes. It's everybody's responsibility to be aware and to be alert of all the struggles that's going on in today's society. Just one thing: united we stand, divided we fall. That's at least one thing.
peace and love. That's all we need. And also, keep praying to God, keep your faith and believing in Him. That's all we need to make this world a better place for our future generation.
If we stay together, we can face and overcome any challenge.
I think people should step up and show everybody who they really are.
I challenge you, if you're white, black, indigenous, or any person of color that views or sees any form of injustice or discrimination in your daily life, to speak up and stand up about it or for it. For if you take these actions, slowly but surely, they would be a positive change towards the world.
The number of newcomers who reach you, has this number increased or decreased in the recent years?
Ooh, again, I wish I had specific numbers for you. Obviously, with the pandemic, there was less accessibility of coming into the country, so numbers kind of dropped during some of that time, but with things opening up again, it's come back up, and I think in general, over the past 5 years, we've been typically serving around 2,000 or more clients every year.
How did you work during the pandemic?
Great question. We had to adapt a lot. We were working remotely. At the time, we kind of shifted, how are we going to support these families? So lots of phone calls to families. How are things going? Do you need support with anything? Do you guys have enough food? Do we need to connect you to different resources? We did a lot of things remotely. So our employment services they kind of shifted to remote too, so remote workshops, things like that. When we were able to go into schools, we did, and supported students in schools again. That's also where this RAMP program came from, which is kind of interesting because previously we had an after-school program, but students would have to take the bus or walk to N.E.E.D.S Center to access that, which of course in person is amazing. But then for some of our students who live farther away, do you want to take 2 or 3 buses to get there later at night? Maybe not. So now this program that came out of really everyone becoming more familiar with technology during the pandemic, now it's accessible to people anywhere in the city. They can access services. So we really adapted a lot, and now it's nice to kind of go back to some of the things that we were doing previously, but also make changes where necessary as well.
What kind of help do you need from community now?
Well, in the RAMP program, we rely heavily on volunteers. You can also be volunteering in our intro program where you're working in person with newcomer youth. And so, reaching out to be a volunteer is huge right now. I know they're saying, if you don't feel like, I don't have a lot to offer with homework, help with homework, or I don't know if I'm an expert in those kinds of things. Newcomer youth also just need mentors and people to feel safe with and ask questions to, and so that's also a place to do that. So I think volunteers is a big thing, and referring people to us if you know of newcomer families, and especially with Swiss services in that first 18 to 36 month window, and they're struggling, feel free to send them our way, and we can see how we can support them.
What are the advantages of being a volunteer? What do you think?
So, I wasn't previously a volunteer, but I actually did a practicum at N.E.E.D.S Center in 2016 before I started working at N.E.E.D.S in 2018. And so, I wasn't a volunteer, but as a practicum student, you're in a bit of an interesting role. But for me, I would say I learned so much during that time just about the challenges that our newcomer youth are facing, builds a lot of empathy to realize, wow, it's so hard to go somewhere where you don't speak the language and everything is new for you and you don't have friends yet. And so just putting yourself in someone else's shoes is really valuable, and just getting engaged. There are so many newcomers in our city, and so just to be aware of some of the challenges that they're facing. Also, like I said, it really is an honor to be a part of their story and support them in getting settled. So I would say those are some advantages, and yeah, just getting to connect with someone from a different culture than you, just stepping outside of your box a little bit, and inviting them in and sharing your experience and knowledge just as a way to give back as well.
Now let's talk about your future plans. So what is your ongoing goals?
Well, I would say, especially thinking about the pandemic and how that kind of shifted some things for us, and realizing, okay, things won't always stay the same, and the way that we provide services won't always stay the same. But the heart of it, and the heart of what we do, I think, really stays the same, just to provide free services that are accessible in a safe environment, and really just helping the transition of our newcomer youth that come, and making it as smooth as possible. That kind of remains at the heart of what we do. So whatever that looks like, hopefully we are not going to be facing another thing similar to the pandemic, but the way that we provide those services, it might change over the years, but I think the heart of what we do will probably stay the same.
Thank you. So the last question, I would like to know, what would be your advice to newcomers?
I would say, oh, that's a good question. I would say don't be afraid of failing. So if you are feeling insecure about your level of English, just who cares? Just start speaking the best that you can. And people will be understanding, and but just start trying. And if you're worried about what people might think of you, and making friends is nerve-wracking, just step out of your comfort zone a little bit, reach out to people. A lot of the students that we talk to are so nervous about their first day of school. I said, you know what? Everybody's nervous about their first day of school. Even people who've grown up in Canada, their first day of school is nerve-wracking. And if you feel awkward, they feel awkward too. So, but just stepping out of your comfort zone. They're already doing that in terms of being in a new place. But yeah, not being afraid to fail and just giving things a try. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
So with that, we are going to conclude today's discussion. Thank you, Elan. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you today.
Thanks.
Thanks our audience for joining us today. We hope you enjoy it. If you like the episode, please like, share, and subscribe to see our upcoming episodes. Stay tuned with the Community Hour and You Multicultural.